I am predicting a Super Bowl matchup of the Buffalo Bills and the Dallas Cowboys, Liam.
Oh, your
Why am
two
I
favorite
wrong?
teams, huh? Your two favorite teams? That's what it
Maybe.
seems like.
Maybe.
Man, I think you like the Bills more than the Cowboys. I don't see it,
No,
man.
that
There's
is
no way
that
the
is so
Cowboys.
false. That is so
There's
false.
no way the Cowboys are going to beat the Rams, and then the Bills. We know they're going to blow it. We know they're going to blow it. So, I can't see this at all. Like you're joking.
No, this is the War Room presented by the Sideline Journal, where the film doesn't lie. Let's get to work. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Bold Predictions episode for the 2026 season on the War Room podcast. I'm your host, Mason Wrather, former college O-line coach, and joining me is the PFF data collector himself, Liam Carr.
Pretty good bold prediction record so far, just dating back to last year. But Mason and I have some pretty good ones, and I'd just like to note that the PFF analysts, Sideline Journal analyst, senior analyst, yeah, when everybody was talking about how great of a kid JJ McCarthy was, he was against it, and what happened now?
You know, that was the classic debate from last year. We had what does the film say and what do the eyes say, and the eye test ended up being proven right. So, but
Yeah.
without further ado, this is what we got in the episode. We got 6 predictions. They're gonna be bold takes. We're gonna alternate back and forth. One of us is gonna present a take. The other one is gonna provide the counter argument, and we're gonna let you decide. And the first take that we have up is I personally think there is a quarterback that has been a top 5 pick in the NFL that's led his team into the playoffs every single season that is going to be playing for his job and is going to lose his job. And officially, I think that CJ Stroud for the Houston Texans will lose his job by week 10, Liam.
That's absolutely nuts, man. But I know we just talked about we're gonna argue, but I can't really find anything. I'm not a big CJ Stroud truther. I mean, he's shown that he has that. When he has the weapons, in college he was just straight balling. But going back to last year when we saw Davis Mills play, there was something about the offense that played better with him. I don't know.
I think he got a really good OC fired, right? Like Bobby Slowick. Bobby Slowick, they had a really good first year. A lot of stuff was in rhythm. They go into the second year, it's all disconjointed. It's not working. He gets fired. It still looks the same with the next OC. Bobby Slowick has now washed up for the Dolphins, and Malik Willis comes out in the preseason and looks great. I just think that CJ Stroud is somebody that has refused to evolve or work at the NFL position. I go back to a couple red flags with him. Originally, why I didn't really have him rated very high. He scored a 4 out of 50 on his Wonderlic score test. For y'all that don't know, that's just a general aptitude test, and normally, historically speaking, on average, quarterbacks that score at least 15 or less out of 50 have an average career span of 2.5 years. So that's one red flag with CJ Stroud. Second, the whole press conference deal of the post game of him trying to big bro and give advice to another quarterback, and he's like, I'm good, man. Or to Caleb Williams, he's like, I'm good, bro. I
Yeah.
don't need this. Like, I think there's some maturity issues there. I also think that he just does not read or see the field correctly, and he's been masked a lot. We go back to his rookie season, though, and he's playing some good football. I just think that where the Texans are now and where they're trying to get to, I think he's the biggest chokehold around them. And I think that D'Amico Ryans might actually make a move at quarterback because of the Davis Mills play.
Yeah, I'll say this. Look, they had no run game last year. I'll argue against you now. Joe Mixon was not there, and he obviously was a big help to that offense when he was in. Then they get stuck with Woody Marks, who was in the blue tent every single week. And then, you didn't have Tank Dell either, who was fantastic for them. And we saw that 2 years ago up until he got injured with that horrible injury. But I think, a lot of people are watching the Falcons to worry about their QB battle. Who's worse, the left cheek or the right cheek? They're both terrible. But it's like, yeah, CJ Stroud over here, elephant in the room. He definitely is playing for his job. I think that's very real. And so, if the offense is not moving well, I mean, their defense they're the ninth ranked. They have the ninth highest odds to get into the Super Bowl. You exchange CJ Stroud with Davis Mills, do the odds go up or down? Davis Mills doesn't have the name, but last year when we saw him play, the offense did look way better. And now they finally have who do they? David Montgomery having the bell cow. He's not explosive, but he'll get the yards. He has better vision than Isaiah Pacheco, so I'm really looking forward to that run game getting back. And CJ Stroud, What, like you have till week 7 to prove that this is your job and your role?
I don't know. I just think for me, what's concerning about it is it's the defensive head coach. They want to play really good, really great defense. That defense is good enough to win a championship. And flip side of that, normally defensive head coaches they want to play turnover-free football, sound, efficient football, and that hasn't been the story for C.J. Stroud. Like in 2024, he threw 20 touchdowns to 12 interceptions. In 2025, in the regular season, he threw 19 touchdowns to 8 interceptions, and then obviously we all know what happened in the playoffs against the Patriots, the 4 turnover first half, and that lost them the football game. And that's why I think that might be
Yeah.
an actual opportunity. Is I think defensive-minded head coaches they always have a shorter leash with a quarterback that's very turnover prone. But that's where I think I want to leave it, Liam. I don't want to beat a
Yeah.
horse to death. I think we'll let the viewers decide if who's right, who's wrong. But we'll move to the second hot take of the show, Liam, and you got a bold prediction here about a popular contender that might
Yeah,
collapse.
I hate bringing it up so often. You already know where we're going probably then, but the New England Patriots have the sixth best odds to win the Super Bowl. They were just in it. They're below the Seahawks, but they were just in the Super Bowl. They're a pretty good team, right? No, I have them having a lot of issues this year. We have a lot of questions, and we'll start with the trenches. There's a lot of questions with the O line and the D line. There's a lot of answers that the whole Patriots team has a lot of questions to answer. We say the schedule, Patriots fans, that absolutely starts them going crazy. But it's true. I mean, this year is a tougher strength of schedule, and last year you go back and it was like the beginning of the NFL draft was their schedule. So that's not great. We're gonna see regression immediately from right there. They're playing a much tougher schedule. Uh, Drake May, to me, he's in the clear, Mason. I like what I see. He was the MVP runner up. I don't really need to see much more than him. He can do it on the ground. He can do it in the air. He had some beautiful passes last year, and the wide receiver room got an upgrade. So I'm so excited to see what they're gonna do. But I just, as a complete team, as a complete unit, in the trenches, are they gonna win? And are they gonna, at the end of the fourth quarter, are they gonna come out on top? I really don't know. And they have the sixth best odds, like we said. I would say playoffs is a question for the defending AFC champs, New England Patriots.
Man, it's hard for me to believe in that. Just looking at the improvements they made, right? Specifically on offense. Like, the Packers fan, in the room with us can tell you how good Romeo Dobbs is as a player, and he's going to be the
I could
wide
go on
receiver
an hour.
two. The wide receiver two, because they went and got A.J. Brown. They went and got Elijah Vera Tucker. They went and got Reggie Gilliam to play fullback, and that man can play some fullback, let me tell you. I don't know. I'm really excited about the offense. I think that it's going to be a lot more explosive, be able to keep up with them in games to where the defense isn't going to have to be as dominant, and I think that's going to keep them in games in those in that tougher schedule where they're having to go down to the fourth quarter and it's, hey, Drake May's got the ball, they're down by 7, what are we going to do? Let's make some magic happen. And I think that the schedule talk is just a little overblown because, they are ranked 6th for a reason.
No, no. I mean, go to the playoff. I mean, I really do think, let's start with Bo Nix. If Bo Nix played in the AFC Championship game, 100% Broncos come out on top. And then that game against the Chargers was terrible. If the Chargers could figure out how to run the ball for more than 1 yard, or how to, guess what, in the 2025, how can they complete a forward pass? It was absolutely insane. But they improved this year, and we'll talk about that later. But, no, I think the Patriots, even though they were just in the Super Bowl, they still have a lot of questions to answer. I like their wide receiver room. I like Drake May. Christian Gonzalez is one of the best cornerbacks in the league. Complete shutdown, but still, as a unit, are they going to be able to come together in the third quarter when they're down? Are they going to be able to win when they have that adversity? I see a lot of hot heads on their team. AJ Brown. How are they going to be able to stay competing when that happens? I got the Patriots having a little collapse here. Just come back to earth. We see that every single year. We see the teams that lost a lot of those close games go up, and those teams that won a lot of those close games go down. So this is going to be a little bit of a down bummer year for the New England Patriots. You heard it here.
Man, I don't know. I'll let the viewers decide on it because one stat I do want to throw out: this offense last year, as shocking as it was number one in total offensive EPA per play, and
Okay.
they add those explosive playmakers in there. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm a little higher on it, but I do think that's a
We'll
really
see.
valid take because what you are saying, this schedule is difficult. They open up with the Super Bowl champs, then the Steelers who are improved, then the Jags, then the Bills, then they drew the NFC North, then they drew the AFC West. So I see the point. I'm not gonna really disagree with it too hard because it's hard to go 14-3 in back-to-back seasons. So we'll let the viewers decide on that one. My second hot take that I want to go with, kind of bold prediction. We're sticking in the AFC side here and kind of looking at maybe a bounce back team. And they're not really a bounce back team. They've been a playoff team every year that Jim Harbaugh's been the head coach. But I've seen too much narratives about the if man, Justin Herbert. And I'm gonna go out here and say it, Liam. I think the Los Angeles Chargers are going to win the division for the first time in the Justin Herbert era in the AFC West.
I'm going to argue with you here, man. I really like what I've seen for, well, I guess the Broncos can't really call them a bounce back, but hey, I'll say the Chiefs then. They'll have a bounce back year with Mahomes, huh? I'm against you with the Chargers. Tell me why.
I don't know, man. I really believe in Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater coming back, being healthy. They bring in Mike McDaniel, who is going from probably the worst quarterback to ever start that I've had to watch with my eyes in Tua Tagovailoa to one of the most physically gifted quarterbacks ever in Justin Herbert. They've got the receivers. They've got Lad McConkey. They've got Quentin Johnson. They got Trey Harris. They have Aronde Gadsden. They have the O-line when healthy. They now have the play caller. Someone that's pretty interesting is they went and got Alec Ingold, who I've always thought is a top three fullback that Mike McDaniel's deployed really, really well. And so that's what excites me. That's what makes me think that they can do it. Looking at the division at large, the Raiders are in rebuild mode. I think they'll be a little more competitive, but I am out on the Chiefs this year. And that's crazy to say, but for y'all that have been with us on the show, a year ago, I declared that the dynasty is over. And I think the dynasty for the Chiefs is over for a couple key reasons. They have no pass rush. Their offensive line is band-aided up. They have no real playmakers on offense. And there's a reason they were picking in the top 10 to begin with. So that, to me, their biggest threat would be the Chiefs. I think that the Broncos were one of those teams that just what was their signature moment last year that made you think like, yeah, this is a premier team? I mean,
Their signature moment was the comeback win when they were down like 30 points against the Giants. That was their signature play. But they don't want to hear about that because they were down 30 to the Giants.
they almost lost to the new Aaron Glenn New York Jets because they could only score 13 points. And I mean, I know that that is drifting away from the Chargers. Specifically with the Chargers, I think Justin Herbert has always been a quarterback that you can look at and say, this
Yes.
guy can win us a Super Bowl. And I think that the elements are finally there for it to happen this year.
I am with you with Justin Herbert. If man gets way too many, he gets way too much hate, just everywhere in the conversations. He is legitimately him. I'm a huge fan of Justin Herbert. Ever since his rookie season, he's been consistent. I think he's had a lot of lacking offensive plan, coordination, and I would say help. But his rookie year, if he retires today, he goes down in history with the 15th most passing yards in a season, which think about how many quarterbacks have been there. He's ahead of guys like Joe Burrow, Matthew Stafford just beat him, but he's against Eli Manning, Matt Ryan, Kirk Cousins, Tony Romo, Dak Prescott, you name it. And he's up there with the guys like Drew Brees, Patrick Mahomes, Ben Roethlisberger. Okay, that's not an if man. He's legitimately him. He can do it. He's about to be in the best offense he's ever been in. Okay, they have the run game. Their O line stays healthy. He'll be fine. And then their wide receivers, they can get the job done. And it looks like Mike McDaniel's will have them open. Look what he did in Miami. Bring that to Los Angeles. It make no difference. It's gonna be fantastic. I'm a true through with Justin Herbert, but you know, come on, it's the
Well,
Chargers.
The way that I'll also go with the Chargers too, that's a little bit different, and I'll drift from the offensive stuff, is I also really believe in the defensive coach they went in and hired. You can say what you want about Jim Harbaugh, his stuff at Michigan, his career with the 49ers, his career with the Chargers. The guy knows how to hire good football staffs, and the guy they brought in to replace Jesse Minter, who is now the head coach for the Baltimore Ravens, is Chris O'Leary. And man, he built his reputation in college for really the modern defense that we see. The guys that Christian Parker's running, the stuff that Jesse Minter's running, the stuff that Mike McDonald's running. It's this three high safety shell with modular fronts up front. And he went to where he was at Western Michigan, first year ever as a defensive play caller, and he took an FBS worst defense. They were ranked 134th, and he had them as a top 10 FBS scoring defense, only allowing 17 points per game. And I think bringing that in to a team where the defense is going to continue to be a strength of the team, where the offense can now match it, just makes me a believer in what the Chargers can do. But we'll leave it to y'all, the viewers, of what you think of if it's crazy saying that the Los Angeles Chargers, will win the NFC West. But Liam, I'll turn the mic over to you for your next bold prediction.
Hey, we're going with player breakout. There's a lot of great guys to choose from. Last year, I said Brenton Strange was one of my dark horses that I liked. I think he had that. He was in line, and then he had some injury, and then they kind of just shut him down. This year, watch out for him again. I'm a big fan of him. But this year, I'm going to go with Tre Tucker. Now, you might remember him as a waiver wire ad that totally sucked after you got him on his team last year for fantasy football. This year, I'm a big fan. He's going undrafted. You can go get him. But Tre Tucker, because I really like that situation he's going to be in with Clint Kubiak. Now, here's the thing, Mason. If you want to interrupt me, just go ahead. But Clint Kubiak usually just, what we've seen is he feeds one player, and then the second guy gets kind of crumbs. We know that Brock Bowers is going to probably get a majority of that passing game. But just the scheme with Tre Tucker, we've seen that he can produce when he gives those targets, but he wasn't able to maintain that. But with Clint Kubiak, I love it. Getting into finding the zone, finding the soft spot, settling down. He's so quick. I loved what I saw in the preseason game just from that big first drive. He had like 2 or 3 plays where I was like, he has the speed. He's a great route runner. He has the hands. We haven't seen anything terrible with the hands yet, but I'm hoping that they feed him a lot equally to that Brock Bowers goal, and he will definitely be a breakout player for this year.
I don't know, man. We're looking at a guy that's never had more than 700 receiving yards in his career in a season. I think that's a little bit of wishful thinking because I mean, you got Brock Bowers, you got Michael Mayer, you got Ashton Genty, and it's a 36-year-old Kirk Cousins that's throwing the football. They went and paid Jalen Naylor, so I don't know, man. You're gonna have to convince me a little more on why you think Tre Tucker is gonna break out to be a 1,000-yard receiver.
I'm not going to compare him to JSN, but I think he has a JSN role, okay? And that's why I like saying that settling down into that zone spot. Brock Bowers can do the same, yeah, but, they might feed him. They might go to feed him, and they should because I've been a huge fan of him since he was at Georgia, and he came into the league, and he broke Mike Ditka's tight end receiving yards, which is, Brock Bowers is the man. But I really think, they brought in Jalen Naylor. They're going to obviously, they brought him in for a reason. You don't just go out and get a random guy. You have a goal for him. Jalen Naylor, I think, is going to be that deep threat sideline guy. Tre Tucker is everything in between. His yak is going to be crazy. I think he can just fit around the middle linebackers. Then he's got the breakout speed to just get some more yards. And even in the red zone, I'm a huge fan of his release game. I think that he has great release with anybody. He's so underrated right now. I know he had that. It was like week 2. He had a breakout game, but it was. I think we can really see a lot with Clint Kubiak. Clint Kubiak came to Las Vegas for a reason. He chose them for a reason. He likes what they have. Ashton Genty, Brock Bowers, yeah, but that breakout candidate is 100% going to be Tre Tucker this year.
You might have convinced me just a little bit. That was a really film-focused argument right there, and that's the Clint Kubiak's MO, right? Is the condensed sets, 2 wide receivers on the field, run the play action, motion them through, and take his shots. Like the Seahawks last season, they were 27th in pass attempts, but 3rd in explosive play percentage from throwing the football. And to your point with Tre Tucker, I mean, pulling up the quick War Room analytics here. The data from his career shows that when the Raiders use play action, Tucker's first read target share spikes from 16.6% to 41%. And if that's going to be what he's in the majority, I can see the vision for what you're saying. And talk about his fantasy value, guys. This is somebody that's pretty much undrafted in leagues right now. And he has a really fair shot to be a 1,000-yard wide receiver. So, deviating a little bit from our bold predictions picks here, but buy the stock in Tre Tucker, according to our War Room analyst Liam Carr here.
100%. And Kyler Murray, but whatever.
All right, the next one that we've got up, Liam has another player breakout / award All-Pro level prediction.
Yeah, going for All-Pro predictions. Wanted to kind of get a little deeper. Guys that have never won it. It's really tough to get. It's a selected few. It's the best honor, I think, in NFL for just non-MVP, none of those like single awards. All Pro means a whole lot. It's still a trophy that is worth something. It has a lot of value still. So I'm gonna go with first. I want to go on the defense side of the ball. We've talked a lot of offense, but defense side of the ball. Little shameless plug here, but I think Edgerrin Cooper is a All Pro breakout year.
Man, you're gonna have to fill me in on that ball knowledge, because wasn't he like a backup linebacker for the Packers?
Edgerrin Cooper been in the year. This is gonna be his third year. Rookie year, huge flashes of, man, this guy could be something. Second year, had a bigger role, bigger step up. Whatever's been asked of him, he's contributed to just positive. He's just a positive guy in every aspect of defense. So this is gonna be his third year. We said bye to Quay Walker. We brought in Zaire Franklin, but right next to Zaire Franklin is going to be Edgerrin Cooper. And aside from what I see outside of football, when he's just raising horses, standing on horses as they're running, bringing all of the Packers to his horse barn. I think he's a real life, just serial mental. He's just fanatic about football. He has a great nose for the ball. He can step out whatever. We're asking more from him this year, and he's gonna give it. And I just can't wait to see this guy get 100 tackles, 10 sacks, and 3 or 4 fumble recoveries. I mean, this guy's gonna be a do-it-all for the Packers. If you don't know him now, get him now. Edgerrin Cooper is going to be all pro, swear. It's going to be just a surprise, but you can't ignore the stats when he's going to get there.
I'm not even really going to debate you on it, because, I mean, they did spend the 45th overall pick, second-round pick on a linebacker, a heavy investment. They bring in Zaire Franklin. They bring in Jonathan Gannon. And Jonathan Gannon's known for kind of his hybrid 5-2 penny fronts, where he takes a linebacker like Edgerrin Cooper and lines him up off the edge. And you can see it in camp, the training camp videos. They're moving Lucas Van Ness off the field and aligning Edgerrin Cooper on the edge. So I really think he's got a good shot, a good role for it. I mean, we're talking about a guy that, in really kind of a backup role, he still has about 205 total tackles and 4 sacks. I mean, somebody that's a catch-it-all kind of player. So I think it would be really interesting to see maybe an unknown guy, kind of like when Zach Bond came out of nowhere for the Eagles, and for someone to win All-Pro there. So I think that'd be pretty sweet.
And I just want to do one more of a name that we all know and maybe more debate can be around. But Broncos traded for this guy. Huge value that they lost for him. They believe in him. Jalen Waddle. He hasn't won an All-Pro yet. He was kind of in the shadows of Tyreek Hill for a while. But the Broncos, they want him. They realized that they had a lack of depth with wide receiver. Jalen Waddle comes in, clear number 1, clear favorite, just a great route runner. Everybody, talk about Jalen Waddle, what they say. I think route running is probably his best priority. And then he's sneaky fast. He was in the shadows of Tyreek Hill, and everybody talks about how fast he was. Jalen Waddle is insane too with his speed. He's been up there with yards, receiving yards and touchdowns, but I think this is a year where with the Broncos, we can debate about Bo Nix, but they still throw it a lot. Sean Payton will get the targets to him. Jalen Waddle is more than capable for handling it, and I really think that we could see him as one of the best wide receivers in the AFC, and I think he can be one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. Buy heavy stock for Jalen Waddle. All Pro year incoming. I said it first.
I'm gonna have to heavily disagree, and it's just because Sean Payton's consistently favored those big-bodied, physical X receivers who could dominate the intermediate area of the field. Think Marcus Colston, think Michael Thomas, and then think Jimmy Graham, big tight end that was a number one receiver for a little bit. Think Cortland Sutton. Also, for some reason, he loves to throw it to running backs. R.J. Harvey most recently, Darren Sproles when he was out with the Saints. I can't remember a time watching a Sean Payton made offense where a super fast, super explosive, super slender receiver was the number one receiving threat in the offense. Like, the closest thing was when he would maybe deploy Raheem Shaheed a little bit, but I mean, we're talking about the guy that made the slant god in Michael Thomas, and Marcus Colston, who's a 7th round pick, so he ran a 4.840, is number one wideout. Like, I'm not going to disagree with you on Jalen Waddle's talent, because Jalen Waddle is a freaky receiver, and he's going from Tua throwing passes to him to Bo Nix throwing passes to him. But from the coach's perspective, for me, I can't buy into it.
No, dude, come on. We said it before about like the wide receiver room absolutely stinks. You are a Cortland Sutton hater. I've heard you say it before, man. You're not a big fan of him. This is the best wide receiver they've had on the Broncos for a very long time. Sean Payton knows what he's going to be doing. He knows what that offense can do with a guy like this. He wanted him, called him specifically, gave up a good amount of value. You know, if they really wanted a really good wide receiver, they would have kept their first round pick and picked Deshaun Stribling, because he would have been still in the draft, the best wide receiver in that draft class. But no, they like Jalen Waddle. I think they're going to feed him the ball. Bo Nix, you know, they're going to do slant God, because Bo Nix can't really throw it more than 15 yards downfield, but still somehow better than Tua. Just feed him the rock. Jalen Waddle can do it, man. This is the best wide receiver they've had. I don't know what else to say. This is going to be an all-pro year for Jalen Waddle. Say it again.
I don't know. Maybe he'll be used like Brandon Cooks. Maybe that was the one receiver I forgot. That was a little different. And you know, it'll be fun to look back on this to see who was right and who was wrong. So we'll leave the player debate with Jalen Waddle to you, the audience. I think it'll be really interesting to see how that one really shakes out, because historically I'm pretty negative on the Broncos, and I need to own that. Maybe I'm being too negative here. But our last bold prediction here before we rank 1 through 6 of what's most likely to happen and not happen is a Super Bowl prediction, because what kind of show would we be if we didn't try to rage bait you guys a little bit? But this one I'm kind of serious on. And maybe I'm blinded by my fandom. For y'all that watched the show last year, I'm sticking with the same two teams for this prediction. I think that two franchises that haven't been in this game since the 90s are going to finally overcome their demons, and they're going to make it. I am predicting a Super Bowl matchup of the Buffalo Bills and the Dallas Cowboys, Liam.
Oh, your two favorite teams, huh? Your two favorite teams? That's what it seems like.
Maybe.
Man, I think you like the Bills more than the Cowboys. I don't see it.
No, that is so false. That is so false.
There's no way the Cowboys are going to beat the Rams, and then the Bills, you know, we know they're going to blow it. We know they're going to blow it, so I can't see this at all. Like, you're joking?
No, I'm 100% serious. I'm such a believer in Christian Parker coming in for the defense, and I'll go to statistics. Historically speaking, EPA per play, the Cowboys were a top 15 offense of all time. Flip side of that, the Dallas Cowboys defense last season was the worst defense of all time if we are looking at rushing and passing EPA per play. If Christian Parker can just make this defense below average or average, which I think he can do it, this is a 12-win football team, and anything can happen in January football. So I'm going to talk about the Cowboys because it's a perfect opportunity to. I mean, bringing in Rashawn Gary live while recording the show, we signed Von Miller. Caleb Downs is going to win defensive rookie of the year, and Dak Prescott's going to win MVP. That's how the Super Bowl matchup is going to happen.
No, man, there's no way the Cowboys are going to overcome Aaron Donald and Myles Garrett, MVP Matthew Stafford, Puka Nacua, 1-yard touchdown merchant, Devontae Adams, and then the dual-headed running back with Kyren Williams and Blake Corum. There's no way that the Cowboys, or, you know, I have nightmares of the Rams playing the Packers, and then even if you beat the Rams, the Seahawks, even if you beat the Seahawks, are we going to talk about your rival, the Eagles? I mean, I just have no idea. No, and then the Bills, it's like, man, I like the Bills. I like Josh Allen. That stadium is terrible. You know, nobody can watch the game there. There's not a single seat in that house where you can see the field. It's absolutely insane. Looks worse than the Jacksonville Stadium. DJ Moore is a Band-Aid on a bullet wound, and then yeah, you got your O line and James Cook to save the day constantly, and your organization stinks. It's not going to be the Cowboys. We're going to see Rams, and we're going to see AFC. I don't know, maybe Chargers, but
See, but
um,
maybe it could be a Rams Bills Super Bowl just because, man. I'm telling you, what favorite exists in the AFC right now? You really are we really going to say the Bengals? Are we really going to say the Ravens? Are we really going to say one of the AFC South teams? The Bills are the favorite. I don't think that's as crazy as we're making it out to be. And I mean, DJ Moore is looking pretty nicey. He had his best season ever in the league with Joe Brady as his play caller. Josh Allen, get married to Haley Steinfeld. Maybe he finally made a little, selling his soul to get some of that magic for the
he
athlete
has a
stuff.
kid now, so he has dad strength,
Exactly. You
right?
see what I'm saying? He's like, there's something kind of there. I will say for the Dallas Cowboys, realistically, why I'm putting this expectation on them is because I think the talent that they have amassed is good enough to be in Super Bowl worthy conversations. I truthfully do. What is going to kill them is going to be the guy that owns the franchise and has killed us since the 90s. It's going to be Jerry Jones, and it's going to be the constant circus surrounding the team. But, man, I look at the O line, I look at the receivers, I look at the quarterback, and I look at the defensive personnel brought in, and I'm all in on it. And I want to believe, so I'm going to sit and put it out there for the world to see and make fun of me later. Dallas Cowboys, Bills Super Bowl. Cowboys bring home the sixth Lombardi to the franchise.
Mason, you're making a quality show look better right here.
It is going to first take territory here, but I'm not going to pull a Shannon Sharp and start going, skip. Come on now. I'm serious, man. I seriously think that there is an actual football relevance for why this can happen in a Division 4. Because I look at the NFC, I think the Cowboys can play with anybody. I really do. I think that they showed that last year offensively. And, Matt Eberflus was committing terrorism on the defensive side of the ball. So, a little bit of a hot take here. Probably we're going to rank this one as the least likely to happen, but I'm going to leave it there. Liam, any final thoughts on it?
Man, the offense is there. I'll give you that. George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb is fantastic. Javonte Williams is better than people give credit for. The O line is manageable, and Dak Prescott, take out the playoff games. He is an incredible quarterback, and yet Mike McCarthy kind of doing Mike McCarthy playoff football with Dak. But I still don't see it, man. But we'll see what the comments say.
The comments will decide. I'm hoping that I get some Cowboys fans in here to defend me. But now we're going to go to actually look at the bulletin board here, and we're going to rank these takes 1 through 6 of what's most likely going to happen. So for y'all that are, chapter watchers watching the podcast, we had 6 bold predictions. We predicted that CJ Stroud would lose his job. We predicted that the Patriots would collapse and potentially miss the playoffs. We predicted that the Chargers would win the AFC West. We predicted that Tre Tucker would break out and have a JSN-like season. We predicted that Jalen Waddle would be an all-pro level player. And we predicted that the Cowboys and the Bills would be the Super Bowl matchup this season. So, Liam, 1 through 6, starting with 6 being the most likely to happen and 1 being the most likely to happen. What are we slotting in 6th overall?
Most likely to happen or least likely?
Least likely to happen.
Yeah, the Super Bowl take.
I would agree with that. I think that that'd be like a 1 in a million shot. I need to go cash that sports bet right now for that to happen. So that's the clear 6th least likely to happen. Now we're at 5th least likely to happen. Where are you falling right now? I think for me, the least likely to happen is CJ Stroud losing his job, just because I think moving a doing that's a franchise-altering decision. And I know I was the one that argued it to most likely to happen. I think that the conversation would be they would move off of him and not extend him, and they would use first-round picks to get one of those quarterbacks. So I'll put it at 5 because it would be such a massive move. I would respect it, though.
I think I'd have to move that up, but we can leave it at 5.
Well, hey, it's modular. Right now we have it at 5. Maybe we move it up. So now we're looking at the rest of them. We got the Chargers winning the AFC West, Patriots collapsing. We got some player breakouts. Where are you feeling right now for 4?
I would say I brought up Jalen Waddle, but you kind of talked me down from it. I still think he has that potential. He's going to be good, but All Pro is so hard to get to. Rooting for him, but I'd put that, at, least likely now.
Well, so I would kind of agree with that. I think it might honestly be a little more likely to happen. I think you kind of talked me into it, but we can leave it at 4 for now. I think that
Okay.
the top 3 most likely to happen. I'll go out and say it. I think the most likely to happen for me, number 1 overall. I think the Chargers are going to win the AFC West. I really do. I just think that the Chiefs are descending. I think the Raiders are rebuilding, and I think that the Broncos are going to have regression ahead. That's just me though. Where do you
Dude,
see it?
I'm a Chargers truther. I think I could see it happening, but Mike McDaniel's is so good. But man, it's like the Broncos to me. They're so good in the trenches. Their O line is so good and their D line is so good. They have a great defense. They're going to do running back by committee with Stroud and Payton. I think that organization top down is very good, and that's a bigger role than a lot of people think than just on the gridiron every Sunday. But I, I'm really looking at the Broncos are going to have regression, but um,
I
but
just I believe in their floor, right? Because they built their team, right? They had the
the
foundation of their
Chargers.
football team. No, the Broncos. I'm talking about the Broncos here. I believe in their floor. They have the O line and the D line. Foundation of the football team is the best part. But man, I just don't. And maybe Jalen Waddle will be that for them. That be the pencil needle movers. But I don't know. I also think it's really likely too that the Patriots collapse and regress. So let's rank that one number 1. I'm gonna go with that. I believe in that. So
Okay.
if we're listing out our predictions right now, we're saying that the most likely bold prediction is that the Patriots are going to collapse and potentially miss the playoffs. Second, we're saying that the Chargers are going to win the AFC West. Then we're saying that Tre Tucker is going to break out like JSN. Jalen
Yes.
Waddle will be an All Pro, and then our shots in the dark with 5 and 6 of CJ Stroud losing his job and a Cowboys Bills Super Bowl.
Yes, we gotta have Trey Tucker up there because I have confidence in it.
Hey, this is
Trust.
this is the War Room analyst, guys. This is the guy that gets into the data and knows it. And I mean, I talked about War Room analytics I pulled up. Nah, that was all freaking Liam in the War Room analytics department. So
Man, I
he's
just
on it.
grind every day. Get the subs up so I can quit my job and do this full time.
Facts,
If Trey Tucker, if he's the breakout, y'all gotta do that.
100%. So, man, I think that'll end the show for us. We wanted to put something out that was a little bit different than the division preview shows. We'll get team specific ones up the rest of the way leading up to it. But y'all drop your bold prediction in the comments below, or let us know what you would want to see differently on the show that we maybe don't think about, because we want to build a community along with you guys. We're already at 541 subs. A month ago we were at 480, so really incredible that y'all are joining the community, and we'll keep building along the way with you guys. But Liam, that's all I got.
550 would be fantastic before the season starts. I would just be bewildered. And then Mason, have we announced it yet on the socials about the live?
I think that it would be a great chance here for you to announce it.
We might have announced it already. We'll probably get some graphics up later. But hey, that Rams 49ers game in Australia, it's going to be on Netflix only. If you can't watch it because you don't have Netflix because you can't stand paying all the subscriptions, go to YouTube, look up Sideline Journal. We're going to be broadcasting that game like a radio. We can't show it for legal reasons, but September 10th at 7:35 p.m. Be at the Sideline Journal. I forget who's doing the color commentating and the play-by-play, but maybe it'll be a mix of both. But it's going to be fantastic, in-depth breakdowns. It's not going to be the annoying, oh, looks a little Mahomey there. No, we're going to be doing fantastic breakdowns, kind of like that amazing draft live that we had. This is going to be on another level. It's going to be fantastic, Mason. Looking forward to it. I can't sleep because I'm so excited about it.
100%. It's going to be real exciting to join you guys along, do it live. We always appreciate it. And we'll catch you there. That'll probably be the next really live thing that we do. And we'll probably go 30 minutes before and really do a pregame show and cover the season. So we'll catch you guys then. But until then, peace out. We hope you enjoyed this episode of the War Room Podcast presented by the Sideline Journal. If you haven't yet, check out the team previews, check out the draft live stream, and drop a take in the comment that we haven't heard yet. We would love to build this community with you guys and get to 550 subscribers before the season starts. It's crazy, the community that we're building, and we're enjoying the ride with you guys. And we will catch you in the next episode of The War Room. Peace out.